Hello, my name is Shane Sutton, and this is a presentation regarding the Contemporary Business Leaders Assignment for Management 420. This is the Topic 6 Honors Assignment. The objectives of this presentation will be to describe the characteristics of conscious leadership, and then we'll compare those characteristics to the characteristics of other leadership styles. Then we'll describe the contemporary business leader that we chose and how they exhibit conscious leadership in their actions. We'll kind of just go over a brief history of how they have applied this idea of conscious capitalism and conscious leadership and conscious culture to build their career and put them in the position where they become a credible managerial source, someone that is a role model in the business space. So, and then we'll kind of go over those behaviors in conscious leadership that we want to exhibit to promote conscious capitalism. And then we'll go over behaviors that we want to avoid as well. Then we'll go over a contemporary business issue within the leader that we chose, their industry, and how they've worked to kind of combat that issue and how they've applied the conscious leadership concept and conscious capitalism to tackle that issue and kind of just improve their industry overall.
I'm Adaline Eyre, and I will be presenting on conscious leadership and providing definitions and characteristics from both Conscious Leadership by John Mackey, as well as leadership characteristics covered in Topic 6. According to John Mackey and Raj Sisodia, conscious leaders understand and embrace the higher purpose of business and focus on creating value for and harmonizing the interests of the business stakeholders. They recognize the integral role of culture and purposefully cultivate conscious culture. A conscious leader is someone who not only cares for the monetary success of a business, but also the empowerment of its employees and the long-term effects of every decision. Here are some characteristics of a conscious leader, as defined by Mackey and Sisodia. First is vision and virtue. A conscious leader puts purpose first. Many leaders focus solely on what the company has to gain, but a conscious leader sees purpose beyond that and how they can impact others for good. They see business as an opportunity to serve others and uphold integrity above success. Next is mindset and strategy. Conscious leaders find ways to be creative and use innovation to ensure that no one has to lose. They think ahead to the future and what long-term impact their decisions will have on both the company as well as others. Finally is people and culture. A conscious leader understands that there is no one perfect team for every issue. A good team is constantly growing and reevaluating decisions and positions to best suit the issue at hand. Next, we will look at the visionary style of leadership from the Topic 6 materials. The authors of Organizational Behavior and Management write that visionary leadership brings to the situation a clear sense of the future and an understanding of how to get there. There are three main characteristics of visionary leadership. First, they have clear goals and full understanding of how to reach them. Not only do they find purpose in those goals, but they also inspire others to reach for the same goals. The focus of a visionary leader is on purpose, as well as the empowerment and self-actualization of the members of the team. The next leadership style is servant leadership. As written in Organizational Behavior and Management, servant leadership is follower-centered and committed to helping others in their work. The goal of servant leadership is the empowerment of others. There's a strong emphasis on the sharing of power. Rather than one losing power as the other gains it, the power is shared by giving others the information and ability to make decisions. Once members have been empowered and see the purpose in what they are doing, the goal is that they will then share the goals of the organization and want to play a part in reaching them.
Hello, my name is Martinez Gade, and our contemporary leader is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is a well-known American entrepreneur, investor, and television personality. He is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks NBA team and the chairman of AXS TV. Cuban has also invested in various businesses and startups, including Shark Tank companies such as 1031 Productions and Tower Powder Boards. Cuban is recognized as a leader in the tech and entertainment industry and has been a vocal advocate for entrepreneurship and innovation. He has been in leadership positions for over 2 decades, with his tenure as the owner of the Dallas Mavericks beginning in 2000. Mark Cuban was selected because of his charismatic and energizing personality. Due to his involvement in mainstream media and his professionalism in sports, it becomes very easy to notice how Cuban is able to directly connect with the younger generations. He is a very outgoing and active individual that is able to forecast business development. Even at his older age, he has managed to keep his excitement to innovate and improve. When combined with his fame, this serves as a perfect example for younger individuals that are still looking for ways to make their marks on the world. With the growth in e-commerce, fintech, and overall business, many young people are looking to be visionary entrepreneurs. This is exactly why Mark Cuban is and allows for the seamless connection between the two. In terms of conscious leadership, Cuban has demonstrated his commitment to social responsibility through various philanthropic efforts. He has donated millions of dollars to charity and has been involved in initiatives such as the 2020 All-In Challenge, which raised money for COVID-19 relief. One of Cuban's greatest achievements is his success as an entrepreneur and investor. He is known for his ability to identify promising startups and invest in them early on, often before they become widely known. Cuban's response to significant challenges such as the 2008 financial crisis has been to stay nimble and adapt to changing market conditions. The characteristics of conscious leadership are evident in Cuban's leadership style, particularly in his commitment to social responsibility and his ability to adapt to changing circumstances. He has also demonstrated a willingness to learn and grow, as evidenced by his involvement in Shark Tank and other ventures that allow him to mentor and invest in young entrepreneurs. Overall, Cuban is a leader who embodies the principles of conscious leadership, and his success as an entrepreneur and investor is a testament to the effectiveness of this leadership approach. Mark Cuban has demonstrated a commitment to conscious leadership by prioritizing social responsibilities and philanthropy in his business ventures. He has made significant donations to charity and been involved in various initiatives aimed at promoting social and environmental sustainability. In addition, Cuban has also invested in startups and companies that align with his values, such as those focused on technology and social impact. Overall, Cuban has made it its goal to aid in business operations that reach a positive impact on humanity through innovative strategies. He has done so financially and managerially. As the owner of the Dallas Mavericks NBA team, Cuban has also shown a commitment to meeting the needs of all stakeholders. He has worked to create a positive and inclusive culture within the organization, emphasizing teamwork and community involvement. Cuban has also been an advocate for player welfare, such as advocating for better mental health support for NBA players, according to Warts and Spence 2020. Conscious culture within sports organization and is centered around the idea of improving consumer quality of life through play, while also defining the identities of certain communities. Individuals within the Mavericks work together to provide an elevated level of humanity through the distribution of entertainment. This comes at a high level of average due to Mark Cuban's direct involvement in the organization and his use of conscious leadership. Consumer and employees all benefit from the organization because of how Mark Cuban has influenced operations to target a higher level of social responsibility. Overall, while Mark Cuban's leadership style may not align perfectly with every aspect of conscious leadership principles, he has demonstrated a strong commitment to social responsibilities and meeting the needs of all stakeholders. His focus on promoting sustainable and socially impactful businesses practices and sustainable and socially community testament to his dedication to conscious leadership. Thank you so much.
I will be presenting on the behaviors of Mark Cuban that we wish to emulate. The first of Mark Cuban's behaviors that I will be covering is Cuban's commitment to improve himself as well as his business skills. Now, Mark Cuban has been involved either in running a business or simply involved in a business since he was a kid. This included when he was 16 years old, the instance of him making paper runs for his local town. In his town of Pennsylvania, at the time, the workers at the newspaper had gone on strike, but Mark Cuban saw this as an opportunity. Mark Cuban then took his car and drove to a neighboring town, bought newspapers there, and then drove back and proceeded to sell the newspapers to his neighbors. Mark continued this spirit of wishing to improve his business skills on into college, where he proceeded to run a bar on campus. He even gave dance lessons out to some of his fellow students. And finally, this carried over into his first personal business venture in 1982, when he started the company Micro Solutions. This company, by the year 1990, had grossed $30 million in revenue. The next behavior of Mark Cuban that I will be covering is his business awareness. Sometime after parting ways and selling the company Micro Solutions, Mark Cuban began working with the company Broadcast.com. This company eventually caught the attention of Yahoo and was subsequently bought out by the larger company. Now, everybody in the business transaction from Broadcast.com received stocks in Yahoo. While many people chose to hang on to said stocks, Cuban instead decided to sell them. By the end of his selling of stocks, Mark Cuban had grossed $2.5 billion. For those who kept the stocks, they ended up only making stuff in the range of a couple of $100 million. Another instance of Mark Cuban using his business awareness is when he decided to purchase the basketball team, the Dallas Mavericks. When he bought them in the year 2000, he had purchased the team for $285 million. And at the time, the team did not have a winning record. However, now, the team has had a record for nearly every year that Mark Cuban has owned it, aside from this year, and the team is now valued at $2 billion. The final behavior that we wish to emulate is Mark Cuban's generosity. Mark Cuban has invested in many startups throughout his life, most notably through the television show Shark Tank. Now, not all of these companies that he has helped have been through Shark Tank, but some of them include Living Christmas Company, which is a company that delivers Christmas trees for the season and picks them up once the holiday has passed. Coconut Girl, a gluten-free ice cream sandwich company, which Cuban supported due to his belief in helping others to eat more healthy to promote a better lifestyle. And Cost Plus Drugs, which is a company dedicated to making generic drugs at a cost-effective way, however, still being transparent with the customers that they are selling to. Cuban decided to do this due to wanting to give other people the chance to be as successful as he was. Now, the reasons that we wish to emulate each of these behaviors is as follows. The reason that we wish to emulate Mark Cuban's drive to cultivate his business skills is that in order for us to be successful in our own careers, we need to learn how to take the initiative to learn more, to never stop learning. If we can do this, then we can learn how to adapt with an ever-changing economy and way of running businesses. And in doing so, can give ourselves a better chance to succeed. The business awareness of Mark Cuban goes subsequently hand in hand. If we are not aware of how things are running in the field that we choose to place our careers in, then we will simply fall behind. However, if we choose to do things as Mark Cuban has done, we may be able to take advantage of things that others may not yet see. And in doing so, help us to get further ahead and be able to better promote our own product, which in turn will hopefully better improve our own society. And finally, the one that I believe speaks most for itself is Mark Cuban's generosity. I believe that we all as human beings need to help others where we can, and especially if we have the means to give others the step forward they might need to achieve their own successes once we have achieved our own. And that will be my segment of this presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, so Mark Cuban has been in the media industry for a vast majority of his career, and he's known about this contemporary business issue for a while, the issue of a lack of transparency and connection between producer and consumer. That's the chosen issue for this presentation. It's so bad that often consumers of media will feel as if they're ignored by the industry. They feel like that gap between them and the producers of the media is just too large, and they feel like they're constantly being presented by misinformation or things that they don't want to see. And so that builds very low levels of trust between the two. So throughout his career, and especially with the Mavericks, Mark Cuban has engaged in participative leadership, fan ownership, and personalized media. So basically, he will often do tasks that his subordinates could do, and he'll engage with fans, even go courtside and try to get them involved in the entertainment and the media. And he'll try to personalize the experience for every type of fan so that everyone can maintain that level of enjoyment through his entertainment, his media. And I mean, he did that with broadcast.com too. He made every broadcasting, like the stream, very adaptive and individualized to everyone. So he's very goal driven, obviously, but he bridged that gap between producer and consumer and made them feel as if they were heard. And he met the needs of the consumer very well. And he displays conscious leadership while handling this issue. I mean, he meets stakeholders' interests and needs. He's constantly allowing for his employees and his consumers to experience the best form of media and entertainment. He is constantly pushing towards that. And especially in the organization, he builds a conscious culture. I mean, he himself is a fan, and he allows for employees to have their work driven by just building the best form of entertainment that could elevate society. And everyone there is just wanting to have as much fun as possible. It's pretty great. And throughout his whole career, he's taken accountability, action, authenticity. I don't think you can become a billionaire without doing that. He knows what is necessary for a company to succeed, and he knows what he has to do, and he remains transparent, and he remains authentic. He's genuine. He doesn't hide anything, because at the end of the day, he just wants everyone to be happy. And so he recognizes responsibility to elevate humanity, but he engages in conscious leadership and conscious capitalism by just wanting to better the quality of life of as many fans as possible, because deep down he's a fan himself, and he remembers just how much entertainment and media has done for him. So it's kind of he just really enjoys doing it. So, and then the questions. And so in this presentation, we discussed the characteristics of conscious leadership, and we compared those with the characteristics of other leadership styles. And then we described the business leader, Mark Cuban, and we described how Mark Cuban implements conscious leadership and how he has implemented conscious leadership. And then we went over the behaviors of conscious leadership that we want to imitate and express, and the ones we want to avoid. And then we just went over the business issue of lack of transparency within the media industry and how he's combated that with conscious leadership. And yeah, I think Mark Cuban is a very respectable billionaire, and honestly, one of the most engaging individuals that we could have picked for this project. So I'm very happy that we chose him. And here are the references. Thank you.